The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
This is the main event.
This is the main event, Mark's podcast. I'm your first host, lifelong wrestling fan, a radio guy, cat dad, and the podcaster of Doom. I am Troy, and with me as always is the main event collector and figure hunting warrior. He's the WCW Watcher of Classic Wrestling, now a shirt on our Bonfire store, and the mean Mark to my Paul E. Dangerously. It's Greg. What's up, Greg?
I'll have you know, sir.
Yeah, except you're not a ginger. And I don't know if you go around punching people in the heart.
Yeah, you're right. I should be the Jewish guy.
Yeah, right. The Jewish guy with a mullet.
Dude, the amount of mullets on this show, man. Good grief.
Hell yeah. Well, you know, like
this is like mullet heaven right here, dude.
Exactly. And with Mean Mark, we get a ginger mullet, which is like the epitome of mullets.
Ginger mullet.
Hell yeah, man. I have some notes about Mean Mark. Obviously, like anybody
he's going to do nothing ever in his life.
Oh, yeah, right. Anybody who knows anything about wrestling will know who the hell he is and what he did and whatever. So
not necessarily. Maybe they didn't follow this.
Yeah. Dude, can you imagine if like nobody knew about this and they were like, oh, I'll watch this pay-per-view, check it out. And then they see this and they're like, is that the Undertaker?
No, that's the bad guy from Suburban Commando.
Oh my God, yeah, right. At this point, he kind of is, because I think that's he did that while he was still in WCW, I believe.
I think it might have been right here.
Yeah. I wonder if I didn't hear any stories with Bruce Pritchard when he was talking about them hiring the Undertaker. I don't remember him saying that Hogan pulled for him, but it's like, man, if I was Mean Mark, I would have tried sucking up to Hulk Hogan while I was on the set. Like, hey, you think you can put in a good word to Vince for me? Not like he's exactly going anywhere here. And supposedly,
brother, you might get bigger.
Well, supposedly, Ole Anderson told him he had zero use for Mean Mark. He didn't see him going anywhere.
And nobody would ever pay to see him wrestle.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, huh. Well,
hi.
Well, this is the same guy that told Ric Flair, well, you lost to Kurt Hennig on TV. What good are you to me now? Guy's a flipping moron, man. Like, damn. And Jim Ross, I think it was either Jim Ross or Tony Schiavone or maybe both of them complained about how flaky he was, where it's like he made it clear he didn't want to be there. And he's like, well,
get the F out.
Yeah, he's like, it's quitting time. I'm going home, whether you are or not. So, finish your work. And it's like they'd be in the middle of booking stuff. Yeah. Well, he was like in charge of booking and stuff. And they're like, well, we kind of needed his approval and his input. And they're like, but he would just effing leave. It's like, well, 5:00, peace. And they're like, we still have like a lot of TV to write. Don't care. Going home
somewhere.
Yeah, right. So he said it was all up to the booking committee, basically. A lot of like Tony Schiavone and Jim Ross did a lot of it because Ole just would peace out. That's about it. You had messaged me that this was one of your favorite shows when you were younger, and you got all the feels watching it again. I don't have that same kind of connection with it. Obviously, it was this was the year I was born. I honestly wasn't even born when this show happened. But
you were a thought, right?
Yeah, I was close. I was close to being born, but give me a few months here. But either way, I watch it back and I don't know. I've seen it before, but I kind of forgot some of it. I really liked it, and I think Uncle Dave liked it, but I think I liked it a little bit more than he did. And other people reviewing it online, I think I liked it better than they did even. So I think you and I will have some similar opinions about this show. But yeah, this is some of the best of the NWA back then, or WCW, whatever the hell you want to call them.
It was WCW, right?
Yeah, I think at this time, I think they were NWA WCW because like they officially took on the WCW name when Turner bought them in '89, but they hadn't quite dropped the NWA yet. So effing confusing, man. And then they still had the big gold belt, but then they had their own belt, and it was like, oh god.
was the international title. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Hey, this is the NWA World Title, but we're not going to call it that anymore. It's the International World Heavyweight Title, which just makes all the sense in the world.
Why do you say that sarcastically?
Yeah, because, international doesn't mean the world.
A lot of times they call it the World International Title. Yeah, I was just...
Yeah. It makes no damn sense. That'd be like, the United... That'd be something like as dumb as saying like... the
World Tag Team Champions of the World.
Yeah, or the United States Heavyweight Champion of the World. Like, wait, what? I mean, I guess you could kind of say it's like, well, it's United States Champion in the world. It's like, yeah, but there's only one United States. I don't know.
No, there's 50.
Yeah. Well, they're
what do you not get about this?
Yeah. Either way. Before we get into the news and notes, which we have a lot of, some of it is more pressing than others that we'll dive into. But the first thing we got is kind of a three-parter here. I'll tell you why. There's a bunch of different facets of it. But I do want to tell you all about the sponsor of the podcast. Today's episode is sponsored by Mahler Bros Golf. We all want to look good on the golf course, but it often comes at the expense of feeling good. Mahler Bros Golf has polos that look good and feel good. With their lightweight and stretchy material that hugs your body, you'll feel cool while looking just as cool. These polos are guaranteed to make you look better, but it's up to you to golf better. On a hot summer day on the golf course, there's no polo that you would rather wear than Mahler Bros Golf signature polos. Mahler Bros Golf has a large catalog of polos with designs for those who want a loud design and others for those that want a subtle and sleek-looking design. They also have fun t-shirts, hats, tumblers, and so much more to make your golfing experience better. Use code BELLYUP at MahlerBros.com for 15% off. I gotta ask, let's be honest, alright? Are your polos getting outdated and dingy? I know for a fact that mine are. I've wore them way too long and way too much. It's time to get new ones that'll make you stand out on the golf course. Don't wait to try out your new favorite golf apparel. Upgrade your golf attire with Mahler Bros. Get 15% off at MahlerBros.com with code BELLYUP. That's 15% off at MAHLER Bros.com with code BELLYUP. Turn heads on the course or wherever you wear Mahler Bros polos. Mahler Bros Golf. Look good, feel good, play good. And now we're done with that. We're going to hop into our first break. As we mentioned, go check out the Bonfire store that we'll tell you more about in this break, and some of our friends with podcasts as well. And on the other end of this, we'll get into the news and notes. Follow the Main Event Marks at Facebook.com/Main Event Marks Pod, on Twitter at Main Event _Marks, and on Instagram at Main Event _Marks and at Main Event Collector. Get ready to rumble in your new Main Event Marks merchandise. We've got t-shirts, hoodies, masks, hats, stickers, pins, and much more on our Redbubble store. That's maineventmarks.redbubble.com. You can also pick up some awesome clothing items with the latest updated show graphics on our Bonfire store. That's bonfire.com/store/main event marks. Support your favorite retro wrestling podcast and pick up some cool swag on our Bonfire and Redbubble stores. That's maineventmarks.redbubble.com and bonfire.com/store/main event marks.
By God! Somebody's interrupting the Main Event Marks! Sit down, JR. It's just me, Kyle Sullivan, aka Shaggy Von Doom, your host of Here in Puckburg on the Hockey Podcast Network. I know, a hockey show on the Main Event Marks. Who would have thought? This is an invasion angle. Somewhere between the Nexus and when WCW tried to invade WWE, somewhere in there. But I'm over here just telling you that one half of your tag team champions over here, Greg, he told his story of his love for the game of hockey over on my show. And if you'd like to hear that story, all you have to do is search Here in Puckburg wherever you get your podcast or on YouTube. In the meantime, Shagamania's got to go run wild on some other hockey show. So, just remember, quote the Raven, nevermore, take your vitamins, say your prayers, and oh yeah!
The Main Event Marks are available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. Find all of our links on our link tree at linktr.ee/main event marks.
And we're back.
We're back.
If you're tuning into a wrestling podcast to hear about wrestling and you want it gimmick and politic free, you probably want the same out of your products. Are you ready to ditch the gimmick coffee? Coffee Brand Coffee is fresh roasted to order using only the highest quality coffee sourced direct from farms around the world. They've got bagged coffee as well as K-Cups. Not into coffee? Well, they've got great teas and cocos as well. At Coffee Brand Coffee, their head coffee roasters have mastered the art of unlocking flavors hidden inside their beans. Each batch is custom crafted and curated to accompany unique flavor profiles. Click on the link in the podcast description or go to coffeebrandcoffee.com and use our special promo code MAINEVENT, all one word, at checkout to get 5% off your order. That's coffeebrandcoffee.com and use the promo code MAINEVENT to save 5% at checkout. Got anything cracking this week?
I'm just drinking bottled water.
All right, well, I'll hit you with it then.
Well, it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Oh, yeah. Got the monster rocking this week, man. So there you go. I'm all hopped up on Mountain Dew and Monster. Come at you like a spider monkey. Not
Good
quite as
Lord.
hot.
You're gonna have a heart attack.
Yeah, right. Not quite as hopped up as Tony Khan.
Allegedly!
But, you know, it's up there.
You're gonna get in trouble.
Yeah, well, hey, AEW fans don't respect classic wrestling, man. Come on. I kid.
I think their stuff is classic.
Yeah. But anyway, getting into the news and notes here, it's time.
That is correct.
Shut the fuck up, Dave!
Everything that guy just says bullshit.
And I am pulling
man.
from the Observer, so, you know, that may be true. Either way, first out of the gate here, man. Stop me if you heard this one before. Ric Flair really wants out of his contract to jump to the WWF and face Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania.
Well, most of that's going to happen.
Right, yeah. And if it's going to happen, it's going to need to happen soon so that they can start promoting it. Yeah, how about that? Now, he's going to face the other guy, which, I mean, arguably, they had a much better match than he would have had with Hogan, but...
The other guy.
And I love Macho Man. He was my favorite. Like, I liked him more than I liked Hogan back in the day growing up, but let's face it, Hogan was the guy.
Funny enough, on this show that we're about to review, Ric Flair faces the other guy.
Yeah, right. Well, the whole thing is in the hands of Jim Herd. On one hand, Ric Flair is synonymous with the NWA, but on the other hand, he makes the most money in the whole promotion, and they already let the Road Warriors go months earlier to unload their big budget contracts. So there's a precedent here. Also, losing the Road Warriors hasn't hurt the Gates at all. Yeah, I mean, it's not like they're doing gangbusters business. Ric Flair's contract is reportedly between $550,000 and $750,000 per year. And right or wrong, they no longer want him to be the top guy in the company. So that's a lot of money to be paying for someone who you want in the mid-card. It's nice to have the best wrestler in the world on the show to have great matches, but if he's not drawing, is it really worth $500,000 per year? Especially if Sting is the guy who's supposed to be carrying the shows. The other side of the coin is that the Road Warriors estimate that they're getting out of their lucrative NWA contracts, and it will cost them $100,000 this year. But they had so much heat with Herd that they had to make the jump to keep from getting stale. Yeah, keep from getting stale. Go hang out with a dummy. And Rocco. Anyway.
That was way later.
I know. It was like, what, 92?
Yep.
Well, either way. Yeah, so I don't remember. Were the Road Warriors in WWF in 1990?
I think they debuted
They must have, because I remember reading something
they
about
were at
it.
WrestleMania 7, 1991, so they were there earlier.
Oh, okay. Or yeah,
Yeah, I think they were there at 90. Yeah.
Okay.
I think they were at SummerSlam that year. They did a run-in. Pretty sure. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yep. WWF 1990. They popped up in June. Okay. that is true what they were saying. They're like, well, if you don't want him to be a top guy, and if he's not drawing, why are you going to pay him more than anybody else in the company, other than the fact that he's good in the ring? So, I don't know. If you have to put any logic to it, I guess that's somewhat logical. But nobody was drawing at this point, so I don't think anybody really justified their salary at this point.
Didn't draw a dime.
Those guys never drew a dime.
Yeah, I mean,
as far as all the dimes he drew.
Exactly.
Wasn't he involved in this at that time?
I'm going to say yes. Maybe.
He had some kind of hand in something.
Oh, well, if you ask him, I'm sure he did. But yeah, he was still a wrestler until '92, and then he became an agent for WCW. So yeah, maybe he was jobbing in some territory somewhere. Furthering on with this, though, the NWA money is guaranteed, and the WWF money is not. Case in point, Rick Rude tore his tricep when he came back 2 weeks, and he came back 2 weeks later because Vince McMahon wouldn't pay him while he was gone. Not only that, but Vince advertised him as appearing while he was gone and made money off of his name, which proved to be a catalyst for him leaving the company on bad terms. Also, while Paul Orndorff might have been making $20,000 per week in 1986 working with Hulk Hogan, that was when Hogan was willing to work a full schedule and even do double shots to make as much money as possible. Now, Hogan is set for life and contemplating retirement, and he's not likely to go on the road with Flair 5 days a week. Also, the Ultimate Warrior isn't drawing $20,000 a week with Flair. I mean, yeah, it's like, did Ric Flair ever face the Ultimate Warrior? I don't remember that.
Not in any big time thing, so.
Yeah, I certainly don't remember it. So.
Oh, when Flair was there, Warrior was gone. Oh, he was going to. The Warrior left at the end of 1992. They were going to face off in a tag match at Survivor Series. Yeah.
Yeah, so that wasn't really a thing. Yeah, none of this comes to fruition. Like you and I talked about, it was like, the big money marquee match everybody's been talking about for years. We've been building up Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair, and it's going to be Hulk Hogan and Sid, Macho Man and Ric Flair.
What about Sid?
Yeah. They got to throw that in there. Like, if Sid was going to go heel anyway, I realized that Hogan, like I mentioned, was the guy. Why don't you throw him in with Macho? You needed a program for Macho Man since he was going to be the babyface anyway. Yeah, it would have been a completely different feud, but I don't understand Vince McMahon willingly leaving money on the table with Flair and Hogan. I just don't get it. And the other thing
there's like been 100 stories over the years.
Yeah. Well,
the one I find the hardest to believe is all the matches sucked at house shows. You don't think people still would have paid to see that on a national scale?
Right. Yeah, you advertise that at WrestleMania, you build it up, the Real World's champion, the WWF champion, and all that, the big build up there, man. Like, and that's the way it looked like it was heading forever. And for as much crap as we give WCW for completely fumbling Bret Hart, which I don't understand, at least when they got Hulk Hogan in, they're like, you're facing Ric Flair, like, now. Like, they wasted no time with that. Of course, then they drove it into the damn ground, but still. They also, first
I feel like they faced off at least once a year their entire run there. At least.
Right. And of course, they put him in a program with Macho Man as well, and that went on for years and years and years. But still, it was always Flair and Hogan, man. But the Great American Bash pay-per-view card is being changed around at the last minute, with Mike Rotunda now scheduled to face the Iron Sheik. Sheik is missing all of his bookings thus far, which Uncle Dave takes as a good sign.
How's that a good sign?
I think he was hoping he would miss this one too.
I missed that.
Yeah. This had to have been during the time, because it's the only time I remember him being there. Jim Cornette talking about the way contracts were structured in WCW was if you didn't actually ask for a release, they didn't release you from a contract or whatever, it automatically rolled over every year. So you just got another year-long contract. And they freaking forgot, because Sheik sucked so bad and he was so out of shape, they just sent his ass home and forgot about him. And at the end of the year,
most of him looked good, but there's only one part that was out of shape. If you notice in this match that we're going to talk about,
yeah,
he looks built. He's got like granddad's beard gut.
Yeah, right. I will say though, his arms, I was like, I know he is strong, but looking, it's not like he's got these gigantic arms, you know?
Well, neither does Cesaro, to be fair.
Yeah, that's true. He's just such an effing man. But yeah, I don't
Switzerland,
know.
hot to me.
Good God. Yeah, but yeah, Cornette said they literally sent him home, forgot about him, and they were like, crap, his contract rolled over. We forgot to release him. And they were like, oh, damn it. Since we're paying him so much money, just bring him back on the road. And so
How
they
does
brought
that
him
happen?
back because they're idiots. But they brought him back. He still sucked. So they sent him back home again. Like, good grief. Like, they could have had him as a manager, like what WWF just did with him. I mean, he did wrestle, but...
No, he's about to go be a manager.
Wait, was WrestleMania... Oh, yeah, 7 was in 91. My bad. Yeah, so...
He's only part manager, by the way, because he wrestled occasionally, too.
Right. Like, why didn't... Not like he would be a good mouthpiece, but it's like he could be a good bumping manager.
I disagree. I think he'd have been a phenomenal mouthpiece.
He'd be hilarious. It's just like his promos are incoherent. But he could come in, spit a few lines.
Everyone except for that fucking jabroni Hulk Hogan.
I break his back, F him in ass, and make him humble.
That's a real tweet, by the way.
Why is he always talking about screwing him in the ass and breaking his back? Like, good God, man.
Have you noticed, by the way, he leaves caps on? He's like on caps lock.
Of course. At this point, I'm thinking he just has somebody handling his social media for him, and he just like spits out a bunch of like incoherent crap, and they're like, "That's gold." I
really feel like he's just like he learned how to do like the speak thing. He speaks into it.
Yeah.
And then like the way he yells, the phone is like so smart. It knows to just put all caps. That's what I think.
Good grief. That'd be weird. But either way, yeah. So Sheiky Baby is still employed. How? Why? Well, because they're idiots.
Well, who's gonna have the balls to go fire him in his face?
Yeah, I don't know. Somebody he likes. But they could pull an Eric Bischoff, just send him a FedEx. Damn.
That might be the smartest thing to do.
Yeah, right. The Samoans are booked for a program with the Steiners right away, but on the other hand, they might be fired already. The answer was yes, of course. They were indeed fired.
Why?
Probably just trying to save money. I don't know. So a lot of people were released from their contract during this point. So
don't worry, that Samoans Steiner's match would happen at WrestleMania 9. Now in the archives, by the way.
Yeah. So I don't know when the hell they actually popped up in WWF. The Samoan SWAT team.
92, I want to say.
Well, no, I guess this was right. Yeah, after they weren't in either company. So after leaving WCW in the summer of 1990, the Samoan SWAT team worked for a number of independent promotions in the United States, Europe, Mexico, and Japan, often teaming up with family member Rodney Anawai, who competed as Coquina Maximus. Anybody knows?
You may not know. That's Yokozuna.
That is correct.
Yes.
Got one in. Anyway. So... Good Lord, this story. After splitting...
It's already a great lead-in. Sorry.
Oh, of course. After splitting open the head of some poor guy at the WCW TV tapings a couple of weeks back, Stan Hansen managed to fracture the skull of jobber David Riordan at this week's TV tapings. Cool.
A tiny winger.
Yeah, so he busts some dude wide open hard way, and then he literally fractures a dude's skull the next time. Good God, man.
Original John Moxley.
Yeah. Well, furthermore, Stan Hansen got kayfabe suspended for abusing a referee and sent back to Japan for 30 days. He then did a classic nutty interview where he accidentally whacked himself in the shin with his own cowbell and then choked on his chewing tobacco.
Gotta have more cowbell.
But he recovered and finished the interview. They actually did let it air because it was still great. Hansen's even potatoing himself at this point, man. Were contacts not a thing in 1990? Pretty sure they were.
I don't know.
Yeah, like, I know my mom had contacts in the early 90s. Like, that had to have been a thing. Because he said he was pretty much blind, which is why he potatoed people all the time, because he had no depth perception. Dude, get contacts, man! The hell is wrong with you? That's
hell's wrong with you? You don't know what's wrong with Stan Hansen, huh?
He's got a big fat wife and a bunch of kids to feed. Which he said that in a promo. I didn't make that up. I'm not insulting anybody.
No,
By the way,
canceled.
his wife was a little Japanese lady, so no, he did not have a big fat wife at home. Either way.
Kenny Olivier is like, that's how you do it. In his phone sex voice. That's how you do it.
What the hell?
You listen to Cornette when he says that?
No.
He says Kenny Olivier has a phone sex voice.
Not totally wrong. Well, I was going to say a little Japanese wife at home. That Carl Anderson approves. So, despite trying to unload all the expensive contracts, Jim Herd still won't give Eddie Gilbert his release for whatever reason.
Whoa. Government name, please.
Oh yeah, it says it on his driver's license. It says "Hot Stuff" Eddie Gilbert.
Thank you.
First name Hot Stuff, last name Gilbert, middle initial E.
Now you get it. Now you get it. I like that. Now you're getting it.
Yeah. Gilbert, comma, Hot Stuff. Either way. Yeah, really? It's like, gotta hold on to Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert in 1990, man. We can't let him go to the competition. Like, really? That's the one you're holding on to?
He never did he?
No, I don't think he ever popped up in WWF. I could be wrong. Maybe he did some jobs there, but I highly doubt it. I know there's a lot of, let's see, Wild Samoans versus Eddie Gilbert and Kurt Hennig. So, okay, the fact that they're calling him Kurt Hennig just means this was a job match.
Yeah. Well, when he first came in, I think he was just Hennig, I believe. I could tell you in the Royal Rumble 1990, Jesse Ventura called him Kurt Hennig multiple times.
Wow.
So yeah. I don't know how that works there.
Yeah, so he did do some jobs for he would pop up. I know he was in the WWF like in the mid '80s for a couple matches here and there. Yeah, some job matches like where he was actually beating a jobber. He was not the jobber. So, he didn't really stick around, and obviously by the early '90s he was jobbing himself. So there's another way you can tell him and Kurt were the jobbers. They're in trunks and ring jackets, and that's it. It's like
that could be like their whole thing.
Yeah, right. That's like on Star Trek. If you're wearing a red shirt, you're dead. Anyway, Sting made his big return at house shows in Detroit and a few other places, and immediately failed to move the needle whatsoever. Uncle Dave points out that really he was never allowed to be gone in the first place. So what exactly was special about seeing him come back again? I mean, he's not totally wrong. Because I don't think he was really off TV when he was hurt, was he? At least not for long.
He was there. He was at a couple of events with his knee in a brace, I believe.
Yeah. So it's not like this was a big, we haven't seen Sting in forever. It's like, he's been there. This was just like his return to the ring. I don't know. Terry Gordy and Steve Williams are trying to get back into WCW as a team, but they're asking for $1,000 each per match. Yeah. Jim Herd isn't biting on that one because realistically, the audience they play to has already forgotten both guys, and it would take weeks to get them over enough to justify that kind of money anyway. That's kind of rough. I mean, I don't know if he's wrong here. What show was it that they came back as like the Japanese tag team?
I think we did do it though, right? It's in our archives.
Yeah, it's in the archives. I just
don't remember what show it was though. I remember talking about it.
Yeah. Oh, it was one of the beach shows. Okay, so yeah, it was after this. So no, Herd did not hire them. It must have been Bill Watts, which that plays.
That plays UWF, right?
Yeah, well, it was
the fake UWF, not the real one that Herb Abrams did.
My God, no, this was right before. This was like early '90s after Herd got fired. Watts took over. And because I remember Jesse Ventura was at that show, actually. But, I mean, it makes sense because Gordy's a good old Southern boy, and you know where Steve Williams is from. So.
Yep. That's right. University of Oklahoma. Boomer soon.
Oh, yeah. Got to get it all in. One guy who will take Jim Herd's lowball money offer is Kerry Taylor, and he'll start in September.
Hell, I got to be a rooster. Take a couple $100,000 off. I don't care.
If you want to come back and work, you got to take that rooster hair down. Like, whatever, just pay me whatever. Call me tailor-made man. I don't give a damn.
Oh, whoa. He was just Terry Taylor at first. Terrific Terry Taylor. You don't just get to be tailor-made man. You got to earn that.
Oh, yeah, you got to work up to that. That was good stuff, man.
Ah, man.
That guy was screwed. Norman the
From
Lunatic.
Jump Street, dude.
Norman the Lunatic was indeed reintroduced as Trucker Norman for TV in an oddly pointless repackaging. No.
I've never in my life heard of pointless repackaging in the history of pro wrestling. Have you?
Exactly. No. They're all great.
I mean, if I hear repackage, I think money.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I don't want to step on my own joke here, but I think of people like Ron Simmons. That was a really good repackaging from Farouk Assad.
Yeah, right. Well, any repackaging involving Norman the Lunatic is going to be bad. Hey,
is this when they made him into the trucker?
Yeah,
that's the handicapped guy. Yeah,
he's not a lunatic anymore. Now he's a trucker. It's like, what? What the?
Is that Sullivan?
No, it's supposed to be Jim Herd, but I don't think Sullivan was here yet. But man, what the? Really? Everything involving him just sucked. I know. I'm just stating the obvious all over the place here, but
some people just have that appeal to certain people.
Yeah, I guess so. Oh, we got to keep giving him a job. He'll draw the house.
And you're about to let the biggest draw in your history walk.
Yep. Holly Anderson desperately wants to fire Missy Hyatt, but Jim Herd wants her on the show for ratings, so she'll still be on the show.
Wow, I bet that's why you wanted her on there. Okay.
Yeah, not for her assets. Like, really, for ratings? Who the hell is tuning in to WCW because they're like, oh, I got to see if Missy Hyatt's on?
Pervs.
Yeah, that's stupid. Like, really?
Well, I mean, she was on every show. She was a familiar face, to be fair.
Yeah, but it's like, really? For ratings? Give me a break.
I'm not trying to justify. I'm just giving you what I think is the reason.
Yeah. Yeah, she was there. She was... I mean, I guess she was good at being the ditzy blonde, but why does that have to be on every show? I don't think anybody gave a damn.
Why not?
Yeah, I guess so.
You know, I don't even know why I talk to you. You don't get stuff, dude. You're stupid.
Yeah. Speaking of stupid, WCW debuted in Toronto on June 27th with yet another title match that wasn't a title match in the main event, as Lex Luger pinned Ric Flair in 20 minutes. The best part was the newspaper ads for the show. It was listed as U.S. Champion Rick Flair versus World Champion Lex Luger.
L-O-O-G-E-R.
Yeah, right. With, get this, with Vicious Sid in Luger's corner and Sting in Flair's corner.
Vicious Sid?
Yeah. I think not. But neither Sid nor Sting was at the show. Also appearing, the Steiner brothers, S-T-I-N-E-R. Steiner. And they took on Doon 1. D-O-O-N, the number 1. Okay. With manager Long. Right.
Oh, my God. I was wondering what the hell you meant by Dune 1. It just dawned on me. You said Long.
Yeah,
okay.
Right. Plus a match advertised as Johnny Ace versus Bam Bam Bigelow. Both of those guys are in Japan at this time.
You got fire in your head. Cowabunga, dude.
Hey, I'll oil your flame head for you. Cowabunga. Don't say anything racist.
I know you drive motorcycles. Gotta be on my skateboard behind you sketching.
Good God. Hey, Bam Bam, I heard you don't like Mexicans, but you like guys that look like me.
Cowabunga, dude.
Yeah. Good God.
Allegedly.
Yeah, so. Good grief.
Oh, we're going to get in trouble.
Well, add to the list of non-title bait and switches by WCW, the Steiner brothers beat Doom clean.
That is a list.
Yeah. Well, the Steiner brothers beat Doom clean at a house show in what was advertised as a tag titles match, and then they simply announced afterwards that it was non-title.
I've seen this a couple of times on TV.
So
almost every company.
And, this is a title match. And then the other guy wins. We lied. Like, what?
I've also seen it in WCW too. Was it 2000? 1999? It might have been 99. Goldberg beats Sting in Halloween Havoc 99. Wins the world title the next night. Sting comes out and says, I never said it was for the title.
Good God. So dumb.
I'm going to go ahead and say that's a Sullivan thing.
Could be. Like I said, well, right here, I don't think he's actually here in WCW at this time, so maybe he just carried it over.
I was just curious. I wanted to see if Bird was doing it, but it said it was by committee. It was Sullivan, Hot Stuff, Eddie Gilbert, Jim Ross, and...
So Sullivan was part of the booking committee?
Yeah, let me see if I can find it again. I pulled it up when I was watching the show. Hold on.
Gotcha.
Where is it?
Because I know they had a committee. Jim Ross was a part of it. Tony Schiavone said he was in and out of it.
CW
I know he helped write for TV. I don't know if he was actually part of the committee.
It says on here, this is just someone posted, so don't hold me to it. Ric Flair, Jim Cornette, Jim Ross, Kevin Sullivan, Hot Stuff, Eddie Gilbert.
Yeah.
See how I remember the Hot Stuff, by the way? You should be ashamed, but anyways.
God. Yeah, I've heard all of those names batted around at different times. It's hard to know who was in at what time because like it was a damn revolving door and hurt egos and everything else. And they just said like Ric Flair was pretty. I mean, it's easy to tell, and everybody kind of admits it. Ric Flair's kind of flighty and ADD, so he's not good at doing this kind of stuff. Like he's not a booker. So I remember supposedly he was the one that fired Paulie dangerously, though. Do you ever hear about that one?
Masterful decision.
Yeah, he's just like apparently him and Heyman just did not get along, and Heyman was following him down the hallway bitching about something, and he's like, you know what? You're fired. Just get out. And Heyman like,
I'm going to go start ECW, sir.
Yeah, right. And I guess Heyman waited and he stood there in shock, and Flair walked into the booking committee room and closed the door. Like Heyman picked up a trash can and whipped it at the door and then stormed out.
Ooh, man.
Yeah, it's like, man, what did that door do to you, man? Asshole. Anyway, getting into the WWF side of things here. As if SummerSlam already nearing a $320,000 sellout isn't shocking enough, WrestleMania 7's advance now sits at a whopping $800,000. They're certainly going to sell out the LA Coliseum with no problems, as long as nothing crazy happens.
Wow!
Yeah.
I was wondering if we were going to get that in this week because you hadn't said any BS yet. It was weird.
Yeah, not quite, but that, yeah. And then, as far as reporting on them going to the LA Coliseum, that's something you can't blame, quote unquote, journalists, real or fake, about because, I mean, they were supposed to. Then at the last minute, they're like, you know what? Never mind.
I didn't think it was supposed to. I think they already had it booked. It was all done, right?
Right.
So it wasn't supposed to. It was much of a luck.
And it was, well, they claim, and Bruce Pritchard still maintains this today, but then again, he's always a WWE shill, so, whatever, but for obvious reasons. But, he said,
you got that check.
Right. He was like, it was 100% because of, security concerns. It was all about that. It's like, I mean, I believe a good portion of it probably
the fact that the Super Bowl had the same problem that year, that's why I can believe part of it.
Yeah, I'm not doubting that was a good portion of it or a good chunk of it, but they weren't going to fill it. Like the way that the ticket projection was going.
Why was it not Hogan Warrior 2? That's what's beyond me.
Yeah, I don't get that. It was weird.
It's a recurring theme with WWE at WrestleMania this era.
Yeah, right. And it involved a lot of the same players. But yeah, I don't know. They were not gonna sell it out. And Pritchard claims, that had nothing to do with it. Like, really? It didn't? Like, there's no way Vince wanted to walk into the LA Coliseum and only have it half or even, I don't know, 2/3 full or
whatever. And it is crazy to me that they could probably fill that thing now and they're probably never going to go.
Yeah. Yeah,
you feel
I'd be really shocked.
That's already a high in probability.
Yeah. I mean, I would be really shocked if they couldn't fill it today, to be honest with you. Much as people, love to cry and bitch about it, they sell out damn near everywhere they go, especially the big arena shows. I'd say
Roman Reigns versus CM Punk to do it, but I think they could do it.
Well, hey, they had at this last one, not the last one, 2 years ago, they had Stone Cold, coming back, whatever, and a couple other pretty big ass things. But I think they could do it, man. With their numbers in the last few years with big stadium shows, I mean, it would be the smart money to not bet against them.
Well, the fact that 3 of their annual pay-per-views are now in stadiums is telling to me.
Right. Yep. Yeah, and they just sold out in Puerto Rico and all this other stuff. So
I was thinking about that. Do you realize they have 5 international shows this year that are probably going to sell out?
Yeah, I mean, it's about time, man. I mean, they are World Wrestling Entertainment, and they're always trying to push their international status. So
they need to go back to Puerto Rico ASAP because that crowd was amazing.
Yeah, and I mean, they pulled out every
last night in North Carolina, it was pretty hot too. Yeah. And I believe our boy Grandi was there, going off of his Twitter.
Yeah, I saw that too. Shout out to Curtain Jerkin, Mr. Jacob Grandi, former guest on the show.
And if you're wondering why I didn't reply to you, I didn't want to bother you during the show. That is why.
Yeah, right. Well, Hulk Hogan will be making some sort of commando action flick in November, which isn't great, which we just mentioned.
I know, right?
Not rehearsed, which isn't great news for WWF's.
I think it shows.
Which isn't great news for WWF's house show receipts in the fall. So there you go. Yeah, they always said when Hogan was on house shows, business did great. When Hogan was not on the house shows, nobody cared. And this was during the time. I didn't realize this was the. Yeah, right. I didn't realize this was the time until I was reading a story about it. But they were so popular at this time because they used to have the A team, the B team, and then for a while they had a C team for house shows going out there. And apparently the C team went through.
Who was that? Like Tugboat?
Well, I guess the C show went through San Jose, so Uncle Dave went, and he said on top was like Beefcake and Valentine. I think.
Hogan's buddies. I knew it.
Ah, of course.
I just went with Tugboat because he was like his top buddy on TV at that time.
Yeah, but I think he said it was Beefcake and somebody. I want to say it was Valentine.
No, Bravo.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Greg the Hammer, but either way,
somebody that could carry him. Okay,
right. And he said the whole show sucked. I mean, you doubt it?
Well, yeah, but I mean, I don't doubt it. But he also has given some questionable 5 stars to questionable matches. So hard to take, but he says sucks.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, it's considering it's the C show, probably not good. But either way. Jesse Ventura went on a sports radio show this week and pretty much said outright that his contract expires soon and negotiations were not going well with the WWF. He's expected to be out of the announcer position soon. Yeah, that happens.
Yeah.
I don't know how soon. I know he...
When is this? This is July. He's at WrestleMania 6 for sure. He's not at the Survivor Series. SummerSlam 90. He might be at SummerSlam 90, so it's coming very soon, yeah.
Yeah, I know he's there. Pretty sure he's there in 91 in WCW. I mean, god dang it, pronouns, pal. Because I know he announces with...
Is WCW a pronoun?
I guess.
I guess you can make it one.
Yeah. He was there with... he announced with Jim Ross for a bit.
And educational.
Exactly. He announced with Jim Ross for a while, so another legend here, Classy Freddie Blassie was in intensive care all last week after a heart attack, but he managed to recover, and Vince McMahon held a big party for him at WWF HQ when he returned.
Wow.
I wonder if he called anybody a pencil neck geek.
Yeah, Vince himself.
Right. Ted DiBiase did a series of skits in Cobb County, Georgia, to build up the Big Boss Man feud. All of the people that he talked to were legit friends or relatives of Ray Traylor. Yeah, was this?
I remember this.
Boss Man was a babyface at the time.
I think he was just becoming one, or he just became one. He was like, it's like getting over more. He tried to buy Ted DiBiase pronouns, pal. DiBiase tried to buy him, and he wouldn't take his money. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wasn't there one where? Wasn't the whole thing about like Jake had stuffed his title or a title or whatever in the snake bag, and DiBiase told Boss Man to pull it out, and he said no, not for any.
I don't remember that part, but I remember them stuffing the title in the bag. Yeah.
Yeah,
Virgil when he do it.
Yeah, I thought that was it. It might have been Virgil. I don't remember. but I might be getting storylines confused. But yeah, I remember Pritchard talking about the skits where he said, yeah, they found people that legitimately knew him down there, and he said everybody you talked to about the actual man down there had nothing but nice stuff to say about him, and like everybody who knew him loved him.
You ever heard a bad word about that guy?
Nah, everybody loved him. He wasn't one of them that left behind a bad legacy or nothing. Like you said, like everybody had something nice to say about him. This is out of left field, but John Nord is still 99% assured of starting on the same TV tapings as Kerry Von Erich. Oh man, you got Kerry Von Erich and the Berserker.
I was gonna start as the Viking.
Yeah.
Right.
You mean the wannabe Bruiser Brody in a helmet? Gotcha.
Yep.
But let's go to Japan. New Japan Pro Wrestling headlined it with a Steve Williams versus Bam Bam Bigelow match on June 26th, but neither guy would agree to do the job, so they lifted the Hogan Warrior clothesline spot and did a double knockout finish instead. Then afterwards, they shook hands and decided to team up, so it's not even going to lead to a blow-off. Good God.
Yeah, they definitely had some pull.
Oddly enough, in Japan, they kind of did. But that's about the only place they did.
And why?
Frickin' Japanese people loved them some big-ass white boy Americans, man. That's why the LOD was big over there. The Steiners were big. Hanson.
Scott Norton.
Who? Oh, yeah, Scott Norton. That's right. Yeah. Almost left him off.
How dare you? That's like leaving God off.
Yeah, he is a big-ass legend to the point of where, like, big in multiple ways, to the point of where they still book him to this day. Like, they'll put him in, like, battle royals and multi-man tag matches and crap. So there are more politics with the Road Warriors, as they had agreed to work a bunch of dates for both groups in Japan before signing WWF deals, and ended up being allowed 6 dates by the WWF. So Giant Baba met with Sakaguchi and worked a deal where New Japan could have them exclusively for those 6 shows, but they wouldn't be allowed to air those matches on TV. This was apparently a concession as a result of a similar deal on the other way for a Stan Hansen match. That's another one. Oh, man.
Another mention of the tiny wanger.
Oh, yeah. But Hawk was actually going to skip the tour, but then New Japan told him that they were going to put Animal together in a new super team with Big Van Vader, and suddenly Hawk decided to come for the tour after all. Oh, well, you can't let Vader upstage you. That's another big-ass white American boy that they put over in Japan. Almost forgot about him, too.
We'll talk about him later.
Yeah, right. This guy. Koji Katao is making friends
guy.
Koji Katao is making friends all over, as he feels that since he's a celebrity, that he shouldn't be doing jobs. Like, at all. Also, he feels that he should be only wrestling Americans because the fans won't care if he has crappy matches because they'd expect it. That's a great attitude to have.
I mean, I get it. It's hard to argue, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, to anybody who doesn't know who Koji Katao is, we talked about him on another podcast where the infamous thing with John Tenta actually happened with him. So he's a quote-unquote celebrity over there because he was a big-time sumo wrestler and sumo champion and all that became a pro wrestler. And he faced John Tenta, who is another former sumo wrestler.
Another big white guy that they like over there, but I didn't say American because he's not American. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot he's Canadian. Well, they faced off, and Katao didn't like the fact that he was supposed to lose to him. Didn't feel like he should. You know, as I just mentioned, he didn't want to do any jobs. So he started shooting on him and tried to, like, pluck his damn eye out. But luckily, John Tenta, did sumo and knew how to defend himself. And
pretty large man. I don't think he probably just shut him off like a fly.
Yeah. Well, like I said, Katao is another sumo champion, so both of them were pretty big-ass dudes. But either way, he let it go at first, but then when he kept doing it, Tenta was like, "What the F is your problem, man?" And then on his way out, basically Katao bailed out of the ring, got on the mic and said, told everybody, "Wrestling is fake. I'm supposed to lose to this guy, but F that." And he stormed out. And that was the end of Koji Katao. So,
Oh, I can't believe it.
Yeah. Good stuff there. That's like the
Oh,
only
Eddie
thing
Mansfield.
Yeah. That's the only thing anybody really knows about that guy is that incident right there.
Well, the fact that we're talking about it right now means he got his point across.
Yep. But, hey, I think he kind of screwed himself out of any future paydays.
Wrestling is like a religion in Japan, too, so you kind of dug a grave there.
Yeah, right. Tenryu opened up the Super World of Sports gym for business, but none of the guys that he raided from All Japan and New Japan can even appear because there's still tons of legal action pending with everyone who, quote-unquote, signed. In fact, some of the guys, like Nowaki Sano, have actually gone into hiding to avoid litigation. Damn.
Hiding to avoid litigation. I don't think I've ever heard that in my life. Usually it's hide to avoid the mob or something. Or I guess in this case, the Yakuza, who do not exist, by the way.
Allegedly!
I've heard people, like, when they know they're going to get served or something like that, they purposely, like, skip around and, like, try to avoid legal papers or, you know, the court's finding out where they are, or, you know, whatever.
Dude, if you get served, just dance back.
Good God.
You ever seen an episode of South Park?
Yes.
Like, what's he doing? Like, Stan got served. He danced back. You dance back. What the hell's wrong with you?
I liked he would only dance to Achy Breaky Heart by by Billy Ray Cyrus.
Now there's a mullet right there.
Well, you're damn right there is. Speaking of American white boys. To the North American Indies, by the way, in the USWA, it appears that Kerry Von Erich will indeed finish up his dates and then start with the WWF on July 17th at a TV taping.
And according to Uncle Dave, he says this out of his own mouth on a documentary. They will never call him Kerry Von Erich, even though they do.
He's the Texas Tornado.
Yeah, they never call him Kerry Von Erich, ever. Oh, never.
Didn't they mostly, they mostly called him Texas Tornado, but didn't they, kind of go back and forth?
They use it as a surname, actually.
Oh, the Texas Tornado, Kerry Von Erich?
Yeah. Oh,
okay. I couldn't remember how they did that. I know they just
at
advertised
one point later, they would just call him Texas Tornado, but...
Right. Yeah, because I remember that, because there are, like, trading cards and stuff where it only says Texas Tornado. And there's actually a Kerry Von Erich Mattel toy, and then there's a Texas Tornado Mattel
which
toy.
are worth like $300 a piece if you're lucky to find one.
Good God. I mean, I'm not shocked, but good God. Either way. So Bruce Hart has given up on the Stampede Wrestling again, and he will be restarting the promotion in August under a different name. This will not be the last time he tries to reanimate that corpse. He just couldn't let that thing
Series 1993?
No, I don't believe so, no.
Okay, so he's not in our archives.
No. Well, he is, sort of, because we did Canadian Stampede, and he's in the in the front row.
SummerSlam 94. Yeah, he was there, too.
We haven't done that show yet, but yeah. I can't remember if I put that in the lineup this year or not. But either way, yeah.
Last year, and then we're going to repeat it this year, because apparently it's a thing now.
Right. Yeah, no, I found that out again. I looked ahead because we've had some issues, as any frequent listeners know.
Can you quit saying we?
Okay, well, I say we as a generalized term, but sure, I had some issues with it. Gosh, way to throw me under the bus, a-hole.
You pissed me off and make me watch Bash at the Beach 2000 twice in my lifetime, dick. So yeah, you deserve this.
Did you watch it live?
I did.
Okay, so maybe you've seen it 3 times.
I think I have now, yes.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, I just gave you a present. How dare you disrespect me like that?
Can I get the gift receipt on that, please?
By the way, we do have our very first SummerSlam of August, and it's a 5-week month or a 5 Wednesday month, whatever. So we've got a total of 6 shows if you count the bonus.
I believe that'll drop right when I finally see your ass again. I get to slap you for American Bash 2000.
Ah, come on! Like I said, I gave you a gift, and you're just like disrespecting me. I don't understand it, and I don't like it. All right. Either way.
God gave me a gift called the present. I'll keep that. Throwing yours back in the water. That's one of the guppies you don't want to take home.
How dare you? Last story I've got here. This is like, man, this kind of sucks. Apparently, Chris Champion has retired from wrestling and now works kids' birthday parties and the occasional indie show as Cowabunga the Ninja Turtle. This is not to be confused with Brian Hildebrand's gimmick in Smoky Mountain Wrestling.
I will bug you, dude.
Dude, can you imagine?
Can I turtle wax your shelf for you, dude?
My God. It's that Spider-Man meme where it's like the Spider-Man pointing at each other, but it's like Johnny Ace and Cowabunga the Turtle. He's like, huh, Cowabunga, dude? He's like, Cowabunga, dude? No, Cowabunga, dude. They just keep going back and forth.
I think I'm pretty sure I said this to you, but me and a friend, we were at a show in the Staples Center. It was either NXT or Survivor Series that year. I believe it was there. Or maybe it was with you. But we walked by a locker room door, not a locker room, there's like a door upstairs, like when we were going to our seats, and it just said Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on the door and on piece of paper. Remember?
No, I don't remember that.
Yeah, I think it was a promotion for the Turtle movie that Sheamus was in. Because I remember them coming in in suits.
Nice. Yeah, I forgot he was in that movie. It's been so long since I watched it. And now isn't John Cena voicing that same damn character?
I have no clue.
Yeah, because there's that new one coming out where it looks bad and it's by Seth Rogen, so I'm probably not going to watch it. But I think John Cena's voicing Rocksteady. Wasn't that who Sheamus voiced? Was Rocksteady?
Yeah.
Or not voiced, but played, I guess. But yeah, because Bebop is the other one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Either way, that does it for the news and notes. You ready to get into this event?
I actually am.
All right. Well, we're going to take our next break. When we come back, it is Great American Bash time.
Follow the Main Event Marks at facebook.com/Main Event Marks Pod, on Twitter at Main Event _Marks, and on Instagram at Main Event _Marks and at Main Event Collector.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. My name is Thomas, and what's your name?
I'm Alan. Yeah. We're brothers.
That's right.
Yeah. Same mother and father.
Your room was...
we shared a room.
Shared a room?
We shared a room.
Thought I knew your face.
Yeah, we go way back, mate. Yeah.
We should do a podcast then.
We have.
We do a podcast?
We do a podcast.
What's it called?
The Broadcast. Yeah, that was planned.
Yeah, well.
What do we do?
Well, we cover all different things in the world of pop culture. We're talking about comic books, we're talking about professional wrestling, and we're talking about movies. Go back and watch classic retro wrestling events, the likes of WWE, WCW, and if you do like that, you can check us out on Apple iTunes, also on Podbean, Anchor, and on Podknife. Also check us out on Twitter at The Broadcast. That's BROKAST. Nearly stuffed up the ending.
Yeah, it's all right. Good on you.
Yeah. Instagram also at The Broadcast Podcast.
Remember, we don't spell it with a C. We spell it with a K.
Sorry, mate.
Take it easy.
Main Event Marks are available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. Find all of our links on our link tree at linktr.ee/Main Event Marks.
And we're back. It is NWA WCW Great American Bash 1990. Took place July 7th, 1990. And the tagline was The New Revolution. The venue, the Baltimore Arena in Baltimore, Maryland. And the attendance was 14,000 and a buy rate of 1.70. So, all in all, not bad. We open the show with a ton of pyro blowing off in the arena. And then we go to Jim Ross and Bob Caudle on commentary.
Bob Caudle, good lord.
He wasn't great, but I don't know. I didn't totally hate him.
He was the equivalent of Gerald Briscoe, man. Just listening to him be asleep.
I kind of liked his voice where he was like, well, now. But he had, nothing really to offer. But maybe he gets maybe he gets the sweet old man pass or the vintage, classic old school pass where it's like, I didn't hate him. Plus, Jim Ross and Tony Schiavone said they loved working with him. They were great friends with him. They thought he was an awesome dude. He's another one. Nobody has anything negative to say about him. But
he's boring.
Yeah.
I'm getting a letter.
The other dude holding the microphone, I think, is, and this hot take, people skewer me for it, but I think Gordon Solie was effing boring as all crap.
Yeah, he was.
Every time he did commentary, man, it was just...
that makes me laugh, but Jim Ross calls him the greatest of all time. Really?
A lot of people do. I thought Lance Russell was better than him. and not crapping on Lance Russell, but like comparatively, like from that time period, I don't know.
Gorilla was better than him.
Yeah, that one comes down to your taste, I guess, because Gorilla didn't call a lot of moves, but it was like the Vince McMahon school of commentary. It's like you just make a lot of noise, make it seem cool, and
like
a big deal.
Playing the Millennium Falcon, just push some buttons.
Yeah, right. What a maneuver! This is a happening. That was my least favorite thing Gorilla would always say. It's a happening. Like, shut the F up, man. Like, yes, it's happening. We get it. Like, it's not happening. But either way, I just now realized this card is bookended by Nature Boys. Because
the real one and the fake one in that order.
Yeah, exactly. Because we get the real one here, Nature Boy Buddy Landel, taking on Flying Brian in about 9.5 minutes to open the show. The crowd here had to think that Landel was just doing some bad Ric Flair impression. Like they had to, because
we're in Baltimore, by the way. That's a pretty big Flair city, so
right. You had a Nature Boy in the main event, the one that they knew since 1983, and then along comes this guy.
How come Herd didn't have him cut his hair off and call himself Spartacus?
Because nobody gave a damn about Buddy Landel. Well, I will say
that's my point. Why I asked the question.
The thing with him, man, like we talked about this with the Iron Sheik. I'm gonna talk about dad bod here, man. Like he looked like he was gonna like stand there shirtless at the grill, gut hanging out. But I will say this,
his back with the same thing you use to flip your burgers.
Good God. I will say this, though. He had a Starrcade main event in tan. He was never going to get within sniffing distance of the main event, but...
And he had some of the best hair on his card next to Beautiful Bobby.
He did. Well, and you know what Arn Anderson always says? He said, fat looks better tan. So there you go. But he said that's why he always tanned, whether he was in shape or not, because he's like, you know what? Fat looks better tan. Like, hard to disagree, but... In the end, Flying Brian wins off of a flying crossbody off the top. I actually dug this one. I gave it 2.5 stars for average. Uncle Dave gave it 2 3/4. What say you?
I gave it 2. It was fun. And did you know that, in case you didn't hear Jim Ross, that Brian Pillman played for the Bengals defensive end?
Oh, yeah. Well, what college did he go to, Jim?
All night, dude. All freaking nights. Everybody who went to college somewhere.
Well, of course. Well, where did the Iron Sheik go to college? Well, he went to Iran U, huh?
That sounds dirty, Iran U.
He played for the Iran U Arabs. But we hear from Gordon Sully for a moment before going to the next match, which, speaking of this guy...
I also noticed, by the way, this is going to be all night, too. I kept wondering, like, does this person get different music or something? After everybody won, they played random music. Did you notice that?
Yeah, they played random things for a few different people. I was like, did you really have to dub over that music? Like, what kind of... Because a lot of it just sounded like generic production music, you know?
Well, it was. That's what I'm saying. Because even these guys, they had their actual entry music. They would play a different song when they won and were leaving.
Yeah, that's weird.
Weird.
Yeah. But up next here, it is the Iron Sheik versus Captain Mike Rotunda.
Right.
Yeah.
So I guess the varsity club's abolished, but he's still got to let us know he's the captain. But
right.
Not that kind of captain, a boat captain.
Yeah, here he's wearing like a little sailor hat, like he's the freaking skipper. Like, what? Like, is that... Okay. This goes...
So it's a far cry from you better pay your taxes.
Yeah, right. This goes from 6 minutes and 46 seconds. Iron Sheik starts off choking Mike Rotunda with his robe to start the match. The ref tries to stop the Sheik from cheating a few times. At this point, the Sheik can still kind of somewhat move, so there's that.
You can hop on the second rope and pose.
Right. In the end, Mike hits a backslide and really fights to keep the Sheik down for that pinfall. Uncle Dave gave it 3/4 of a star. I gave it 1.5 stars. I felt that, you know what, Mike tried really hard, man. What say you?
I gave, let me see what I gave. I gave it 1. It was not good.
Yeah, no, it wasn't good, but I will say this. I've seen worse out of the Sheik.
Bad.
Not good. Believe me, not good.
Yeah, this was... Like, it was just shy of bowling shoe ugly. And I think it's because Mike Rotunda worked his ass off to make this, like, somewhat presentable. But we go back to Gordon Sully, who calls up Harley Race to talk to him about his upcoming match with Tommy Rich. Somebody say something about Fired Up?
Do you know how many times I said that when I was watching with a mutual friend? He kept looking at me like, what the hell are you saying?
Yeah, come on, man. Like, I don't know if he actually said that. I haven't watched a lot of Tommy Rich stuff. I know, blasphemy.
Well, Michael Hayes backed it up.
Did he?
He said something about fire. Yeah, I've heard him say that before. That's where he got it.
Oh, good God. Okay, well, then there you go. Because I know every time he's mentioned on Bruce Pritchard's podcast, he goes, somebody say something about Fired Up. I'm like, what? But either way, Harley Race says that Rich beat him in the past for the NWA title, but tonight he's a
one of the 8, by the way. He lets you know.
Yeah.
One of the 8 times.
Right. But he also says that if Ric Flair's head isn't in the game tonight, he'll surely lose to Sting. Cool. By the way, you notice this is all like went the way of the dodo. Like WCW used to do this stuff all the time where it was like, hey, I know we're talking to you about your match, but comment on that main event that has nothing to do with
that's
you.
one of my notes here. I'm like, yeah, I did. Like, why is this whole thing about one match when there's other matches going on? I mean, I get it's the main event, but like everybody has to have an opinion on the main event.
Well, you remember it was Starrcade 83. They talked to everybody else's interview time boiled down to, what do you think of this other match that has nothing to do with you?
Well, see, I'm willing to forgive that because there's not much going on in 83.
Right, but it's like these people had matches going on. Like, I guess when you're talking to the celebrities and the people in the crowd and wrestlers who aren't on the show.
That I get.
Yeah, but if you're talking to somebody who's actually got a match, it's like, yeah, your match, whatever. But what do you think of this main event? Like, who gives a damn? Like, I realize it's for the world title and it's the marquee match, whatever, but I'd be like, I don't care. F them. Up next, it is...
Like, not one person, by the way, said, well, I think whoever wins it, I'm next in line. You know, that would be too obvious.
Yeah, right. They did that in 83. Remember, Dusty Rhodes actually said that. He's like, whether it's Harley or Rick, I'm next. Like, something like that. That makes sense. But this, nah.
We're going to 2023 it up. I got next.
Yeah, right. But up next is Dirty Dutch Mantell versus Doug Furnace.
Right.
First of all, do you know Dutch Mantell wrestled in a sweater?
Oh my God, that's one of my notes. I said, I'll get to my note here in a minute. Real quick.
And second, did you know that Doug Furnace is from Oklahoma?
Oh, you know what? I wasn't paying attention to commentary during this one.
I missed a lot.
Holy cow. Of course, effing Ross mentioned that. Boomer effing Sooner. Yeah, well, he's a far cry from teaming with Phil LaFawn here. But this goes it goes 11 minutes, 18 seconds. And I said, quite the damn contrast here. Mantell is pasty white, out of shape, looks like he's wearing a sweater while he's shirtless, and he has a long mullet and a big beard. Meanwhile, Furnace is in great shape, tan, and dolphin smooth.
And has a perm that your mother would be jealous of.
Yeah, right? Farrah Fawcett was like, whoa. But in the end, Furnace tricks out Mantell while they're running the ropes against each other. He hits a belly-to-belly and wins. Uncle Dave gave it a 1.5 stars. I gave it dose. What say you?
I gave it 1. This was boring. By the way,
yeah.
What was the timestamp on this?
11 minutes, 18 seconds.
I'm like, this match went way too freaking long, dude. I was getting tired.
I'm wondering why this was on pay-per-view. Like, really?
There's no explanation. That's me. There's no package or anything. So,
and as far as I know, this was like Furnace's debut, or at least they made it seem that way. And why was Dutch Mantell on the show, man? Who could have possibly given a damn?
I forgot he even wrestled. I'm just so used to seeing him as a manager.
Right. Well, this was a few years before he went off to be Uncle Zedekiah. Who was that for? The Blue Brothers or whatever?
And then eventually JBL.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. I forgot about that part. We now go to Gordon Sully again, standing by with Jim Cornette. Cornette jabbers about other matches on the card and then talks about the Southern Boys.
Yeah. Did you hear this promo? He was going to be a country star, but he couldn't sing because someone wanted to slit his throat.
Yeah, he was like, well, he had to stop singing because of his throat. Somebody wanted to cut it. I'm like, holy God. But he says that the Southern Boys are pretty good, but they're not good enough to beat the Midnight Express. He says that they may someday be champions, but today is not that day. Yet another good Jim Cornette promo.
They would.
Yep.
He gets a lot of negativity for his views nowadays, but man, people tend to forget. He's still one of the better talkers in history.
Oh, for sure, yeah. I loved his promos, man. He always did good stuff.
He makes some good money as a freestyle rapper too.
I always liked the Southern Boys tag team. I'll kind of get into some stuff with them in the match, but
there's there's something I wanted to talk about in this match. We'll get to it. So.
They need to stay the Young Pistols, in my opinion.
Southern Boys. Well, I guess that leads into what I was going to say. I guess the Young Pistol, the Southern Boys make more sense with the Confederate flags on them. And I'm surprised that Peacock didn't edit this off.
Yeah. I guess
there's another one coming up later that's very egregious. So I can't believe that got on camera.
Oh, yeah. I think it's coming up in a couple of matches here. Yeah.
It is, yeah. How? It's on camera and you're focusing on it. Like, wow. Some interns getting fired. They missed that.
They probably had the same thought process like with the ECW stuff. It's like, you know what? You're going to get some swears. You might get some racism. It's like people know what they're tuning in for. But I'm shocked they didn't give like one of those trigger warnings.
Yeah, right.
Like, because they sure as crap did with Judgment Day 2004 down in the archives. Like, really?
Very recent archives.
You give just a ton of like turn back now trigger warnings for that. Not for this.
That was just blood, right?
I think it was. Personally, I thought it was about the JBL promo. Where he's just running down about Mexicans and whatever, and none of you can understand what I'm saying because you're all illegals and whatever. Like, mother of God. Anyway, we now go to this.
I'm sure my dad even laughed at that, by the way. Yeah, my Mexican father probably thought that was hilarious. So, just saying.
But this is Wildfire. Tommy Rich.
Say it.
Dawn. Somebody say something about Fired Up. He's taking on Harley Race. It goes 6.5 minutes. Harley Race looked at Tommy Rich and was like,
before I forget, did you catch them talking about his attire?
Yeah, I got a note about that, actually.
I was like, all right, why do you think he's got that on? And me and my buddy said, I don't know. Maybe it's just too damn cheap to go buy some new stuff. I'm not going to acknowledge where that's from.
Yeah, right. Yep. Yeah, my first notes here is, first this goes 6.5 minutes. Harley is wearing one of his purple singlets from his time in the WWF. Jim Ross excuses this by saying that he must be a fan of the Sacramento Kings.
Yeah, we got a kick out of that too, obviously.
Like, what the hell?
Because, in 1990, the team to be a fan of was the Sacramento Kings.
Especially when you're from Missouri.
Yeah. Well, they ain't got a basketball team. Do they?
Yeah, right. Not that I know of.
St. Louis. No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I was going to say Kansas City would be the place. So, St. Louis, I guess. But
well, if Harley was alive today, he'd be very proud of his Kansas City boys, and I hate saying that, but
yeah. Well, in the end, Harley rolls through with a crossbody to pin Race for the win. Pin Rich for the win. Uncle Dave gave this 2.5 stars. I gave it 1.5 stars. It was meh. What say you?
I gave it a star. It was dragging, but then it mercifully ended.
It was an old man taking on the personification of unbuttered toast. It's just, man, why?
What a dick.
Yeah, am I wrong?
I didn't say you were wrong. I never said that. You want to rewind? Let's do it.
I feel like the name Wildfire is like ironic. It's like there ain't nothing fiery about this guy.
Because when I see him, I run like I would from a wildfire. I live in California, by the way.
Good God. Yeah. I don't know, man. Like, I feel like the conversation before this match was, what's your move? And then Rich was like, I'm going to do a crossbody. It's like, I'll move.
I'm fired up.
Yeah. Somebody say something about fired up? I got my stogie fired up. We now go Speaking of stogies,
you ever notice, by the way, Harley Race never changed his hair until he became a manager? He had the same freaking hair his whole life.
Yeah, it's just that fro.
Yeah, it was either a high or low fro. But
although
when he managed Vader, he kind of got like a mullet-ish.
Yeah. We now go back to Gordon Sully standing by with Paulie dangerously and his client, Mean Mark Callous.
I'm going to say something I've never said before. I could not stand this Paul Heyman promo.
Yeah. Well, Paulie shows a Lex Luger shirt where Lex is flexing. He says if Lex tries...
he says about to flex. I'm like, he's clearly flexing on the damn shirt. What do you mean about to?
Yeah, it's like, how do you photograph somebody that's about to flex? Like, he's just got that look to him.
Yep.
Like, God. But either way, he says that if Lex tries flexing tonight, he'll have his head ripped off and Mean Mark will spit down his throat. And then Mark tears the shirt apart just to show Lex how it's really done when you're trying to tear a shirt apart.
So they are reminding us once again that the stars are on the other channel.
Good God. Ish. I will say, if people don't get that reference, showing Lex how it's done, people need to look up Lex Luger versus shirt and stuff like that. It's hilarious.
It's on YouTube.
Yeah. But up next, we get the Midnight Express of Beautiful Bobby and Sweet Stan. They're defending...
Sweet poor music.
Yeah, right. They have Jim Cornette in their corner defending the NWA United States Tag Team titles against the Southern Boys of Tracy Smothers and Steve Armstrong. This goes... Steve
Armstrong doing his greatest Michael Bolton impression, by the way.
My gosh, I didn't even think of that, but now I can't unsee it. But this goes for 18 minutes, 14 seconds. So the Rebel flag is on the trunks of the Southern Boys, and they wear Confederate soldier entrance gear to the ring. So that didn't age well. And I don't know how it flew back in 1990.
It was a lot more loose back then, I guess.
I guess so. Oh, God. But the Midnights jumped the Southern Boys right off the bat for a jump start. Dan Lane and Tracy Smothers get into a karate fight at one point, and the crowd goes nuts for it.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I was like watching this, and like I've seen quite a few Midnight Express matches, but I did not know Stan Lane was a legit martial artist.
I think
I had no idea.
They mentioned it on commentary a couple of times, or Cornette might.
Yeah, that's why I picked up on it and started doing like the stances and stuff.
Yeah, that's why you always see him in matches like doing like kicks and crap like that. So I know this might have been the show I heard it on, maybe. But either way, so I figured they were doing something like this because the Karate Kid literally came out a year before this, so that was over.
You know how many times I said sweep the leg during this match?
Good God. Well, for them, it's like, hey, you there, boy, sweep that there leg.
He looked like one of them pretty blonde white boys from the 80s.
Yeah, right. Look at that Mississippi waterfall, man. But in the end, Lane kicks Smothers in the back of the head. Eaton rolls him up and wins. Uncle Dave gave this 4 3/4 stars. I gave it 4. What say you?
I gave it 4. This was amazing. And you know what? I don't think there was as much Cornette interference as I would have thought.
Right. Yeah, he got involved like once, maybe twice at most, but it wasn't like significant.
Never even used the racket. Although there was a moment where it looked like he did, but he didn't.
Yeah, that kick to the when Stan Lane kicked him in the back of the head, he like swung the racket, but he never actually connected. Wasn't even close enough to fake it. So they were just like, I kicked him in the head. But yeah, man, this was really good. Both teams were awesome. I wish like if they could have changed the gimmick up a little bit, maybe. I think the Southern Boys were really good. Thought they were a good unit. But we go back to Gordon Sully again, standing by with Michael P.S. Hayes and Jimmy Jam Garvin of the Freebirds.
Yeah.
Let me paint a mental picture for everybody.
There's a couple of things in this match, man. Good grief.
Yeah. Let me paint a mental picture for everybody here. So they have glitter, like they're covered head to toe in glitter, which, by the way, is the makeup equivalent of herpes. It never goes away completely. But they have women's makeup on. Like they have like pink lipstick and like some eyeliner and just a bunch of whatever. Like they went hardcore with it.
Hey, whatever. You know, the Undertaker wears eyeliner, so whatever.
Yeah. Well, they also have like eyeshadow on and whatever. It look like.
I just want to make sure we're not painting the picture wrong for people who think we're going somewhere with this.
They look like Mimi from Jim Carrey show. It's like kind of like that. So they're also wearing sparkly pants and suspenders. To which I have to say,
What the fuck?
Yeah, so that, there you go. But they basically say that they're all revved up, ready to go, and they're ready for the Steiners.
Fired up.
Why the hell did they look like this?
I don't remember this ever being a Freebird thing, honestly. I mean, yeah, they were always flamboyant, like Pretty Deadly, but they didn't put on makeup. I don't remember.
Yeah, which would this would lead to a certain situation in their match coming up. But first,
yeah, a couple of them. One of them being Jim Ross. I don't know if you caught that, but
no, I probably didn't. But
it's crazy that this got on TV. Jim Ross, by the way.
That one.
Yeah.
Well, up next is the Z-Man taking on the debuting Big Van Vader. So this was a squash match. It went 2 minutes 16 seconds.
My first note here is, how did Vince not love the Z-Man more, dude? Look at him.
Yeah, right.
Look at him.
Maybe he heard him talk and was like, God dang it, he sucks.
Holy crap.
I mean, he did. But yeah, I don't know. It's
I mean, people were wondering what I mean. He looked like he was chiseled out of stone.
Yeah, right. He was always ripped, in great shape, tan, had like long, like flowing black hair, he had the model good looks that, you figured Vince would just like cream himself over. God dang it, pal, we can put him on magazines. Like almost like a bigger.
And that damn microphone I'd be putting in his face.
Yeah, right. And he was like he almost looked like sort of like Rick Martel, maybe a bigger Gino Hernandez. Yeah. Yeah, so there you go. He was not wrestling quality wise, he was not
that luscious jet black hair.
Yeah, he was not like we compare him looks wise, but wrestling wise, he was not Gino Hernandez or Rick Martel. But looks wise,
I don't think he was bad either, though. To be fair,
no, he didn't suck. He just wasn't great.
Vision's history of people like to write about him, make it sound like he was the worst piece of crap ever. And I highly disagree with that.
No, he wasn't awful. We've seen way worse. He had some acceptable matches. What was it we covered recently? Was it let me see, Wrestle War 92? That was it. I skipped it.
That sounds right.
Yeah, he took on Brian Pillman, Wrestle War 92. I expected more out of it. I'll say that. It didn't suck. It was just kind of like, it is what it is. Before the match, Vader got like his full entrance. He's in his Japanese gear here, by the way, so he doesn't have the strap mask left yet.
First thing I'm saying is I got that Mattel figure.
Yeah, right.
I pulled a Troy.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he's got his like the black mask with like the red, looks like lightning almost on it. And
yeah, the
same thing.
Mask.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he didn't get the red strap mask yet with the Vader time and all that. So, and he comes out with a full like samurai bull gear, whatever. I don't know how to describe it. And
Ross calls it Japanese samurai, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't think about that until he mentioned it, and I was like, yeah, I could see that. But he's like sets it down, and the steam blows out of it. Like it was awesome. He didn't have his cool WCW theme yet. I loved his WCW theme. I thought it was awesome.
I actually thought it was better than his WWE theme.
Yeah, I love his WWE theme, but the WCW one was just like awesome.
It felt like a monster walking out. Like if you see Godzilla or King Kong.
Right.
It sounded like a marching anthem.
Yeah, and when because I'm hearing it in my head like with Starrcade '93 when he came out to face Flair, like big fight feel, and then that music hits.
And
awesome.
The world's most dangerous announcer called him announcing it.
Yeah, right.
Did we touch on that, by the way? The first thing you hear on the show, world's most dangerous announcer.
Yeah, Gary Michael Capetta. Jim Cornette actually talked about why it is that they call him that. He said I might have been the first guy to call him that, and he asked him one
Eric Bischoff hates it. He thinks it's pretentious to make him sound stuck up.
I guess it was.
What kind of asshole uses the middle name, Gary Michael Capetta?
I've heard of that.
Honestly, I always thought I always liked his announcing, but I mean, I guess.
Well, when Cornette was talking about, he said Gary asked him one time. He's like, "So why do you call me that? By the way, just curious." He's like, Well, because you put like your everything into your announcing. He's like, and it sounds like you're like going so hard you're gonna hurt yourself sometimes. He's like, oh, all right. I guess that's a reason. But anyway,
I just thought you could legit kick your ass. But
right.
you never know. Don't just take one look at someone and assume.
Right. But Vader dominates the Z-Man and wins off of a body splash. Uncle Dave gave it a half a star. I give it a star because it was a pretty impressive debut. What say you?
I'm going to give it 2 only because it was designed to be like this.
Yeah, and Vader looks strong. Z-Man got a couple of hits in, but in the end, Vader just he whooped that ass, man. I always loved Vader. I sucks that by the time he got to WWE, he was just kind of older and broken down at that point. But now we go to Garrett.
It's everyone's dream is to make it to there, so at least he got it.
Yeah, it's one of those like I'm trying to think of somebody who like a baseball player, twilight of their career, they go to a team and it's like just basically a DH.
Yeah, Frank Thomas. He did that with the Oakland A's. Probably the greatest hitter in history. One of the greatest hitters in baseball. Definitely on the White Sox.
Yeah.
He was over here.
But Gordon Solie is now standing by with Arn and Ole Anderson, Sid Vicious, or Vicious Sid.
Okay. Mutual friend wanted me to ask you, how old do you think Arn Anderson is in this promo right here? He looked it up and told me, can you believe he's this old in this promo?
Wow. I mean, eyeballing him, I'd say he's pushing 40, but I know that's not right.
I think he pointed out to me that he is younger than you are right now. I think that's what he said.
Yeah, okay, so this, good God, that show was in 1990, and he's 64 years old right now, so that would be 32 years ago. Shame. Oh, wow, so he's my age, yeah.
Oh, he is your age. Okay, yeah. But still, man, it's like saying this, but he's not aged well.
Dude, he came out of the womb at 40, all right? Like, that's what everybody said about him. They're like, that's why they told, he was wrestling under his real name and a bunch of other names. And Junkyard Dog looked at him one time and he's like, anybody tell you look like Ole Anderson? And he's like, oh, all right. And he's like, I never thought about it before. And then he actually got to go.
That's kind of unfair because, a lot of black men don't age. You're going to need a different example.
Well, Arn said he finally was getting called up to Mid-Atlantic, I think, where Ole was. And people told Ole about this, and he gets there, and Ole takes one look at him, and he goes, my God, you do look like me. Holy shit. And he's like, well, we need a gimmick for you. He's like, you're Arn Anderson. Like, oh, all right.
Arn.
There you go.
They go with the whitest name possible for the old white guy. I like that. Arn.
Well, hey, before that, you had Gene and Gene and Ole.
Well, Ole's up there too.
Yeah. Hey, Gene is a white ass name, okay? The original Andersons were Gene and Ole, and then they got
do you remember
Lars.
that episode do you remember that episode of Friends when Chandler wanted to change his name and they tried to make it Gene?
Oh yeah.
It's like what kind of name can I pull off? Gene.
Yeah, and then he's like, what was the one he came up with?
I don't remember that.
He was like, no, I'm
that show.
Yeah, he's like, I'm whatever. And he like says his name and like he walks away and
he's all mad.
Yeah, Joey's like, see you later, Gene.
No, he's like, what's up with Gene?
Oh yeah, that's it.
You're not cool enough to pull off whatever name you said.
Mm-hmm. Anyway. Well, Gordon Solie, though, is standing by with Arn and Ole, Sid Vicious, Barry Windham, and, of the Four Horsemen. Right. Windham says that Ole has devised a plan, and Ole says that Jim Herd may have most things figured out, but the Horsemen have a plan to make sure that Ric Flair leaves tonight as a World's Heavyweight Champion.
This is where I'm like baffled, because to my knowledge, they never mentioned Jim Herd on TV.
Yeah.
Or like even Vince McMahon for that matter.
Oh yeah, they never mention Vince unless like in a commentary, kind of way. But up next, this is the most uncomfortable match of the night because of the fans. It is the Fabulous Freebirds of Michael Hayes and Jimmy Garvin taking on the Steiner brothers, Rick and Scott, This goes 13 minutes, 45 seconds.
Oh,
I
gotta say something. Go Blue.
How about you eat ass? But this one is yet another contrast in the looks because you got this ultra masculine Steiner brother team taking on the metrosexual Freebirds.
And I'm thinking right now at this point when we're watching it, I'm like, man, Rick don't like them two right now.
Oh man, this is.
I get it. If you want to know what it is, go look it up.
Wait, who do you say wouldn't like him?
Steiner.
Oh God.
And again, like if people want to know what I mean, go look up Rick Steiner and what he did at WrestleCon. I ain't touching that, but
yeah. Well, I gotta add this.
Allegedly.
But anyway,
it's true. We still don't see no video.
Yeah. Look, people got mad at me for saying this. Like, how dare you? I'm like, okay, I'm just being logical about this here. Like, this is in a room full of people, and not one person had a camera, and nobody is backing the story up.
And you know what I told my buddy too? We were watching this. I said, "Do you remember when you and I were at the one in New Orleans?"
Yeah.
Like 10 minutes after we left, that stuff between Jake the Snake and Harry Smith happened. There's like 10 camera angles on it. Why? Like, they get them for that, but not this?
Yeah, and this is something that people would have jumped all the F over.
Oh yeah.
Especially if he's like sitting there doing it for a while, and and nobody from the event, by the way, none of the marks, bro, reported on it. So it's like easily disproven.
I want to make it clear. I'm not defending. I'm not agreeing. I'm just saying there's no video or nothing.
Yeah. Well, there's
been
been
a
zero.
Great country in the United States where it's beyond reasonable doubt, isn't it?
Yeah.
So.
Well, it just, I don't know. If I have not heard any audio, seen any pictures, videos, nothing. One person had an account of this in a room supposedly full of people. And
here's where my issue lies. It was all on Twitter, which apparently is the gospel.
Yeah, well, nobody outside of Impact, by the way, is backing any of this up, and nobody from Impact is actually saying they saw or heard or anything. They're just saying, "Oh, well, we believe them." So that's it. Again, if it really did happen, whatever, it is what it is. It's awful, but I just would like to see proof before I completely throw this dude to the wolves. Yep. But. Well, you know what they say, though, Greg.
Me, right?
But either way, the Freebirds jumpstart this one. The camera focuses on a bunch of fans in the front row chanting the bundle of sticks word at the Freebirds.
A 3-letter F-bomb. If you don't know what that is.
Oh, no, they were saying it wasn't even the 3 letters.
The whole thing. The 6 letters.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. If people don't know what we're talking about, I mean,
I don't want to get thrown off.
Yeah, look up the euphemisms for a bundle of sticks on Google. Just go do it. It's the one that starts with the letter F. There you go.
Isn't it like French or Italian for cigarette?
No, that's the 3-letter one. That's British. Yeah, British call their cigarettes that. But no, the long, the full word. Oh, that's a bundle of sticks, and I think that's also British. But either way, I can't believe. To your point, they focus on this.
Yeah, like panning the crowd, they focus right on them. You can see them mouthing it. It's all you're just hearing it and seeing some other fan. Now you see the one that's saying it and they're mouthing it.
Yeah, because I heard it. I was like, oh my God, because it took me a few seconds. I'm like, what are they chanting? I'm like, oh my God. And then they show them. I'm like, so they're not even like, oh, let's focus away. No. They're into it.
We got homophobia and racism on this show that did not edit out.
Well, hell yeah, man.
But Roddy Piper and X-Pac blackface gets edited out.
You know what? Rock and roll, man.
I guess so.
Oh, God. This was bad.
And then you said you didn't catch it, but in the middle of the match, Jim Ross says, I think the Freebirds are fitting well in San Francisco.
Oh, my gosh.
That was on TV, yes. Yep.
Woo, more homophobia straight from Jim Ross himself. Good God, man.
Turner standards and practices has been talked about by Bischoff for years, but clearly they weren't always on their game, huh?
Yeah, right. They're like, whatever. But Jimmy Jam DDTs Scott, but he's not legal. Jimmy, that is. So Rick then hits an over-the-head belly-to-belly suplex on Michael Hayes, pulls Scott on top of him, and the Steiners win. I gave this 3.5 stars. Uncle Dave gave it 3.25. What say you?
I gave it 3.
I actually really liked this match.
I did too. Not as much as another tag match, but I love this match.
Right. This has got to be...
Normally I would rate the Steiners higher than almost anybody, but not this night.
Yeah, right. Well, I'm not a big fan. I think it's canceled out by the Freebirds because I am not a fan of the Freebirds here. I'm not. They've never put on a match where I was like, oh man, that was great. But I will say...
See, I was going to say that earlier about Harley Race, but I didn't like crap from anybody. But people praise him. Like, I've never watched a Harley Race match. I'm like, man, this guy's awesome. Now I see why everyone loved him.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and the Freebirds, I don't get it. They were always doing something. They were always champions. I'm just like,
it's probably like nowadays you see someone like Roman. I mean, he's not Daniel Bryan. It's not going to ever be.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes it just changes over the years of what's acceptable and great.
Yeah, and I don't think the Freebirds sucked. I just thought they were kind of boring in the ring, and they would always get these long-ass matches. I was like, why, man?
I never looked at them and thought, workhorse.
Yeah. Even when Michael Hayes struck out on his own, I'm like, please no. But
be honest, my best memories of him are as Doc Hendricks. Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah.
How I feel.
Yeah. He never impressed me in the ring ever. Like I said, I don't think he ever sucked. He was.
Yeah, the gorgeous head of hair. I'll give him that.
Damn right, and that effing mustache. But yeah, it's probably one of my favorite Freebirds matches ever. That's not exactly a crowded field, but there you go. But Jim Ross and Bob Caudle now try to talk us into ordering Halloween Havoc 90, which is about 4 months away. They talk forever until the next match, and then we got this. Look, the party couldn't last forever. I'm just saying. But this is the 4 horsemen of Arn Anderson, Barry Windham, Sid Vicious. They are taking on the Dudes with Attitude, Junkyard Dog, Paul Orndorff, and El Gigante in a 6-man tag team match.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, man.
This goes about 9 minutes. So let me paint a picture for you people. JYD is severely out of shape here.
Yeah, that hurts to see.
Yeah, he's huge. I'm like, damn, dude.
Yeah, he makes Iron Sheik look like olive oil.
Yeah, this is why it's stuff like this why Dave referred to him as the junk food dog. Besides that, Paul Orndorff's right arm is about half the size of his left arm. Like, It's pretty damn noticeable here. And it sucks. I'm not like, haha, F you. Like, I'm just like, it sucks, man. In the end, the Horsemen toss JYD over the top effing rope for a disqualification. Yay. El Gigante then comes in.
Lazy fish.
Yep. El Gigante comes in and sort of tosses Anderson and Vicious over the top rope in like the sloppiest effing way possible.
I'm not gonna lie, dude. I didn't rewind it, but I missed it. I mean, I'm watching it and I feel like I missed it.
Yeah, here's the thing. He's like halfway across the ring, gives like the lightest shove possible to Sid Vicious, and he sells it like he got shot.
Yeah, so, and when I look back up, by the way, I see, I don't know who it was, someone clothesline Arn Anderson over the top rope, and that's what I thought was the finish. Like, oh, they win, right? Like, what did I miss? Like, what the hell did I miss?
Yeah, El Gigante, that was the other one. He tries to toss him, and Anderson has to do all the damn work. Like, dude, god dang, man. Sucks.
This is his debut, by the way, Gigante. And he never even got in the match legally. Matter of fact, his biggest part of the night is still to come, believe it or not.
Yeah, and this was a big thing, by the way. They kept building, if he gets in the ring with the Horseman. And, like, that was the big thing. And he didn't get in the ring with the Horseman at all. Obviously, we know it's because he sucked and he was green. But why book it then? Like, hot damn, you didn't have to. That's why, like, when I always hear that, what are we supposed to do? I don't know, not book it. Like, that's a perfectly acceptable option.
Well, they had to, because reasons.
Yeah. Well, either way, Wyndham then takes a powder because El Gigante has no idea what to do other than flex, kinda. Uncle Dave gave it a star. I gave it a star and a half because everybody else in the match besides El Gigante. What say you?
I wanted to give it 0, but I don't do that, so I give it 1.
Definitely the worst match on the card, I'll say. Suck. But either way, there is that. But we now go to Gordon Soley standing by with Lex Luger. Lex says that it's a lot easier to tear apart a t-shirt than it is to tear him apart.
Really?
I mean, yeah. Is this Lex states the obvious now? Like,
still my gimmick.
Yeah, right. That son of a bitch. But he then basically talks about how ready he is for tonight's match and blah, blah, blah. Who gives a crap? We now go to Lex Luger defending the NWA United States Heavyweight title against Mean Mark Callous with Paul E. Dangerously in his corner. I want that Mattel figure of Mean Mark, by the way. Do you ever get it?
Yeah, you go to the right Target, you get it for like $6 now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How about that?
It's on clearance everywhere.
Nice. Well, this went about 12 minutes, and this was the match where Mean Mark told Vince McMahon to watch when scouting him for a job, but Mark was apparently hurt, and he didn't do as well as he had hoped, and Vince initially passed on him because of this match.
I think it's going to work out, though.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I guess he was ready to, wash his hands of him. He's like, nope, I don't want him. He's just another, goofy big dude, whatever, and he's not going to fit in here. And I think it was Bruce Pritchard said he had to convince him. He's like, please, just talk to him. Just please do it for me. Vince was like, all right, pal. God dang it.
Just funny in hindsight. You got to be convinced to sign that man.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and then he said he must have charmed his ass off because after that meeting they were like best of friends, and Vince couldn't wait to put a contract in his hand. Like, damn, did he fillet him?
Peter Griffin one.
Yeah. How about you come work for me? And it ends with,
sir, here is a check with my name on it. Write down any number on this piece of paper and I will pay
it. Well, unfortunately, in the end,
they never drew a dime.
Oh, he's coming out of an egg.
Oh, man, that would have been perfect. Come on now.
Ever see the Last Dance with him? Or what do they call it? Not the Last Dance, the Last Ride.
Oh, yeah.
He was adamant. I'm coming out of that damn egg.
Like he wanted to, or
no? He was saying like, "Oh God, I'm coming out of that egg."
Oh, I mean the track history of the WWE, I would have been like, coming out of that effing egg, aren't I? I can't put it past him. Plus, I mean, honestly, that gimmick they gave him was kind of cartoonish and goofy. Are you going to be an old-timey, Old West Undertaker? Oh, okay. Nobody could have made it work like him. He had that aura about him.
I've said that about a million times in my life. I mean, this shit was destined to fail. It was stupid.
Right.
Never mind. I'll shut up.
Yep. Yeah, that Undertaker gimmick, it's kind of like you and I laughed. It's like, man, who the hell is going to get over with the name Seth Rollins? And we were like, can you imagine that on the WrestleMania marquee? Seth Rollins.
4 times now. There you go.
Yeah, right. I also.
All right, I'm gonna shut up now.
I also thought that Bianca Belair was going to be a flash in the pan. Boy, was I wrong. Because when I saw her down in NXT, I'm like, she's got kind of a novelty, goofy gimmick, and boy, she's so-so on the mic. Her matches are blah. Now she's probably my favorite female wrestler in the world.
She's usually one of the best matches on the card. Or at least as of last weekend at Backlash she was.
Yeah, right.
I mean, even Cornette said that.
Yeah,
anyone knows him, that takes a while to break through that mold, dude.
Yeah, for sure. At one point, Luger gets Mean Mark up for a torture rack, spins him around, and Mark's boots knock the ref down. Paulie then runs in and bashes Luger in the ribs with his brick of a cell phone. Mark then gets a near fall off of a cover from that. In the end, Mark goes for a running heart punch, but Luger kicks him in the face, knocks Paulie off the apron, hits a running clothesline, and then wins to retain his title. Uncle Dave gave it 3 stars. I gave it 2.5. What say you?
I gave it 3. I thought it was really decent. Really good.
Yeah, I thought it was decent. I've seen better. That finish though, I'm like a running clothesline. That's it. Like, okay.
You know what's funny? I thought about in the previous match. What was the previous match again?
It was
I
a
wrote this
tag
down.
match. Or no,
Yeah,
it was a 6-man.
Yeah, it was a 6-man. So I was like, I know disrespect to Sid because I love Sid, but Callous faced Luger here. Sid and El Gigante were in the previous match. He would be in WrestleMania with 2 of these 3 guys, and one of them is not Luger. I just thought that was funny.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, Luger was too busy losing on the undercard to the world champion at WrestleMania 10.
Which is one of the ones he wasn't even at.
Yep. Yeah, it's weird to think that The Undertaker wasn't on WrestleMania 10. Like, wow. Shocking. But either way.
He also technically had some kind of match with Arn Anderson because he got the spine buster from WrestleMania 18, so there's that too.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, that got like one of the biggest pops of the whole damn night, too. Anderson running in. I think some people were like, holy crap, Ric Flair's going to do it. Of course he didn't.
I certainly thought so.
Yeah. The Horseman did it again, damn it. One more ride. But we now go to footage from earlier in the day where Gordon Solie was talking to Sting in the locker room. Sting says that he's got everything going for him tonight, and everything's set up just the way he wants it. Okay? This was a good use of interview time right here, Greg.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Hey, Sting, we're going to put a microphone in your face. Just say some shit.
I don't think any interview on this entire show is necessary. None of them accomplished a damn thing.
No, it's just like wasted time. Ah, shit. We need a job for Gordon Solie. Damn it, we got to justify his paycheck. So Sting, do you plan on beating him with a vertical suplex? That's the thing I will always remember about Gordon Solie is just the way he would never say suplex. It was a suplex. It's effing weird,
That was a
man.
suplex. I know what a suplex is.
Yeah, right. But up next, it is Doom of Ron Simmons and Butch Reed.
Team of Doom.
Right. They have Teddy Long in their corner, and they're defending the NWA World Tag Team titles, because we got the U.S. Tag titles earlier, against the Rock and Roll Express. You want to talk about a contrast in looks here, man. Got the scrawny little white boys with mullets, and you got the big jacked up black guys. Oh,
It's like they rip a mountain in half.
Yeah, right. But this goes about a
That's
little
funny
over
you say that because on my
15
notes, I'm
minutes.
like, I don't remember Butch Reed being this big in WWE. I feel like he gained some muscle mass when he went over.
Yeah, it's hard to say because it really is the land of the giants. Like you see some people made the jump and it's like, wow, I didn't realize you were that small. It's just kind of contrast. But yeah, he might have lost a little bit of muscle mass. I feel like he could have went further. I feel like WWE wanted him to go further, but I think it was Pritchard said he just kind of lacked motivation. I think he no-showed quite a few times, and they were like, "Yeah, we're done with you."
I don't remember where I heard it, but there's something about him was supposed to win the Intercontinental title, and he won Honky Tonk Man instead, and that pissed him off.
Who was it? Because they said supposedly there was some legend where he no-showed a match for the IC title, and is it Brett was walking around like Hogan was like he just happened to see Brett or somebody, whoever it was, walking through backstage. He's like, "What about we put it on him?" Because it was
Brett would have been too early, so
yeah, I can't remember who the hell it was. It might have been Honky Tonk, maybe.
it was Honky Tonk, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, because Butch Reed just flat out no-showed. Yeah.
So I assume he was going to beat Ricky Steamboat that night.
Man, I thought Butch Reed had a cool look. Like I don't know if I really dug the blonde hair, but it was different. If anybody during that time, people would have remembered this. If anybody remembered in the territories, they had people like Sweet Daddy Siki that is a black guy with bleached blonde hair, almost white. So at that time, it would have been somewhat relevant. But either way, in the end, Teddy Long gets involved and distracts Robert Gibson as the ref is distracted with Ron Simmons and Ricky Morton. Butch Reed then hits a diving clothesline off the top to Gibson and pins him to win. Uncle Dave gave this... Oh, go ahead.
You notice all the mullets in this match, even with the black man?
Yeah, that's a curly black mullet right there, man. That
I was feeling it, man. I loved
height.
it.
Hell yeah! I mean, how could you not?
And then you got the rock and roll. They're rock and rolling with those.
Damn right. Their mullets were always high and tight. Like that was like it was impressive. I gotta say.
Talking tighter than your mom's purse strings at Target.
Good God. But yeah, Uncle Dave gave this 2.25 stars. I gave it 3. I actually really liked this match. I like the contrast in styles. What say you?
Yeah, I gave it 3 too.
It's fun. I dug it. We now go to footage from earlier in the day of Gordon Sully standing by with Ric Flair. More wasted time because Flair says that he's got a new custom suit for tonight's celebration.
Oh, now hold on. Any promo with Flair is never wasted time, so I'm going to disagree with you on that one, dog.
Yeah, he just says the same thing every time. I got a lot of money. I got a new suit. You suck. I'm the man.
Hey, MJF is one of the top guys in wrestling right now, and he says the same thing every promo. People love him, so.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm better than you. I'm from Long Island.
That is correct.
The usual stuff.
You can't outrun the Jewish.
You can't outrun the Jewish.
I just want to hear him, like, one time he needs to go off on an opponent and be like, you can't out-wrestle the Jewish. I'd lose it.
Or like Paul Heyman, in case you don't know, they'll tell you every time that they are Jewish.
Exactly. I want to hear another one, like at the end of a promo, he just like exclamation point. He'll be like, Judaism, son, and then drops the mic. That'd be fantastic. Either way, we're getting off on a tangent, or I am. But he actually puts Sting, or puts over Sting. Yeah. He puts over Sting for coming back from a supposed career-ending injury to challenge him for the world title. He says that Sting is hungry. However, he's the man, and tonight he'll be the man one more time. And that takes us to our second to last break of the night. On the other end of this, we're going to get into the world title main event match right after this.
Follow the Main Event Marks at facebook.com/Main Event Marks Pod, on Twitter at Main Event _Marks, and on Instagram at Main Event _Marks and at Main Event Collector.
What's up, everybody? I am the hardest part of the ring, the host of the Apron Bump podcast. Ugh. Another wrestling podcast. How many times can I listen to fans tell me who needs a push, who doesn't need a push, who brings Vince's coffee these days? Enough! The Apron Bump is about the journey. It's about nostalgia. It's about discovering new forms of wrestling to really tickle your pickle as a wrestling fan. The podcast brings you reviews of wrestling events all over the world, whether it's WWF, WWE, WCW, ECW. We even cover the golden eras of Ring of Honor, Progress, TNA, and more promotions in the future as well. New episodes every Wednesday. Bump day, yeah? Go to apronbump.com or go to your favorite podcast platform or YouTube and subscribe today for the most diverse, fan-friendly wrestling podcast in the world. I'm Hard.
Main Event Marks are available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. Find all of our links on our link tree at linktr.ee/Main Event Marks.
And we're back.
We're back.
Time for the main event. It is Nature Boy Ric Flair defending the NWA World Heavyweight title against Sting. This goes 6 minutes, 6 seconds. So the Steiner brothers and the dudes with attitude are allowed around the ring.
Oh, you got the name right. It just ticks me off when people call them dudes with attitudes. There's no S on the end.
That's stupid.
Hey, I didn't make it.
Well, Ole Anderson is only allowed to be there if he's handcuffed to El Gigante. So El Gigante makes him stand up almost by the stage. He's like halfway up the ramp. I wanted to say I have Mattel versions of both that Sting and that Ric Flair.
I do too.
I don't have the robe with Ric Flair because that one, or no, maybe I do. I don't remember which one is which because I got a couple Ric Flairs like from the same time period. One came in that 4-pack of the Horsemen I bought in Brooklyn.
I remember that.
Yeah. Then there was another blue one. I think he came with a black robe. So the Horsemen try running out at one point, but are held back by the dudes with attitude. In the end, Flair dodged a flying knee to the corner and went for the figure 4, but Sting rolls through with a small package for the win. Uncle Dave gives this 3 3/4 stars. I give it 3.5. What say you?
I gave it 3.
Pretty good.
Dude, what was Sting going for with that knee? Because that was I've never seen him do that ever.
Yeah, it's like I was thinking he was going for the Stinger Splash, but I'm like, well, you can't excuse that because he literally leads with his damn knee. Like, the only thing I could think was like, did you see he was moving at the last second and readjust to like push in the blow with your knee? I don't effing know. I'm trying to put logic into it. It was random, but you know what? It worked. And they kept playing up how Sting just came back from knee surgery, so Rick would have the advantage, going for the legs. So it was cool.
Yeah, I remember watching this when I was a kid. It took me all the way back, man. I had my Sting shirt on. I had my Sting Galoob. I was going nuts. And that was a couple days ago when I watched this. But
hell yeah!
No, I remember I was like going nuts, man. And you know what I also realized in watching this? That within a couple of months span, the Blade Runners took down the top 2 guys in all of wrestling. Wow.
That's true. Sting should have been first, but he got injured, so they put it off until this event. Because I want to say it was originally supposed to happen at Starrcade. And they had to... Starrcade 92, the one where he faced Luger? Or not 92, 89?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, because I know you and I reviewed Starrcade 90, 92, blah, 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 blah.
Oh, double check that, because it is you.
Right. Yeah, we didn't do Starrcade 89, but I'm pretty sure that was the event. And he said, because they threw Luger in at one point, and Flair was like, no, I promised the title to Sting. So he refused to drop the belt to Luger. So I don't know, but this was still fun. Yeah, it must have been a different event because Sting was at Starrcade. It was at Future Shock.
I think it was going to be Super Brawl in February.
Yeah, because Sting did face Ric Flair in the main event and beat him. It just was non-title.
Because, Lord. WCW.
Right. I think it was a tournament, bro. Yeah, it was some kind of freaking damn tournament. What the hell was them with them and wasting Starrcade on this garbage? And it's in the Omni. Anyway, people can correct me, and I'm sure you will. I can't remember exactly what event he was supposed to drop it at, but
actually,
either way, the babyfaces jump in the ring and celebrate with Sting as tons of pyro lights off. Sting then walks up to the stage while more pyro lights off over the entryway. Gordon Sully meets Sting on the stage. Sting says that his mouth is really dry, which I feel like is TMI. He then says that Ric Flair is the greatest world champion of all time, and he's got some big shoes to fill. He's going to do his best, and he's going to do the best that he can to fill those shoes. Sting says that Flair won all 6 championships with the Horsemen. I mean, no, but, whatever. But he says that he's still the greatest champion ever. Sting then comes back to the ring to celebrate with the crowd, or for the crowd, while more pyro blows off in the rafters. All that pyro, it's like, no wonder you're going, running in the red.
I don't know if you caught it, by the way, but Sting was kind of over here.
Yeah, just a little bit. He won like every award and trophy and everything else known to freaking man in this company. I don't think he was ever the U.S. champion, though, was he?
I feel like I remember him being U.S. champion later. He won a tournament for that.
The Crow Sting?
No, before that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't remember. Well, so
I think he won a tournament, bro.
So I guess just so I can get it in one more time before the end of the show. He says that Ric Flair won all 6 championships with the help of the Horsemen. But either way, that's the end of the show. We're going to take our last break. When we come back, it's final ratings time, and we're going to tell you what's coming up in the future of the podcast.
Follow the Main Event Marks at facebook.com/Main Event Marks Pod, on Twitter at Main Event _Marks, and on Instagram at Main Event _Marks and at Main Event Collector.
Hey gang, it's Commissioner Cooper of TSS Fantasy. We are the fantasy show of the people. Expert fantasy advice, free contests, leading expert medical and legal analysis, and most importantly, you. Interact with us on all social media platforms or check us out at tssfantasy.com. You can hear us on Spotify, Apple and Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and many more. Check out the fun today and be a part of the most interactive fantasy show around, TSS Fantasy, the fantasy show of the people.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ryan McCarthy, and I'm the host of the No Credentials Required podcast. Start your work week with the Monday Drop-In, where I talk about the sports beat in the Capital District, also known as the Mighty 518, as well as Metro New York sports from an upstate point of view. I also give a life lesson from a weekly sports story, so you might learn something from that. I also have a midweek podcast where I interview different sports personalities and talk about a wide array of topics. Take a listen and subscribe on your preferred podcast app, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. Also check out our social media channels on Twitter and Instagram, BellyUpNCR, and Facebook.com/BellyUpSportsNCR. We're a part of the Belly Up Sports Podcast Network in association with Godzilla Media. No credentials required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports.
Event marks are available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. Find all of our links on our link tree at linktr.ee/main event marks.
And we're back.
And we're back.
Final ratings time, y'all. Internet Movie Database gave this 6.9 out of 10. CageMatch.net gave it 6.48 out of 10. I rated it way higher. I give it an 8 out of 10. What say you?
I was a little torn on this because, like, I was interacting when I was a kid. I mean, this is a solid A+, but probably a C-.
Yeah, I would have given it
B-, not C.
Yeah.
But it was fun. But
I would have given it a B- or a B, somewhere in there. So, yeah, I mean, it's good. It's good. Good. But, yeah, this is a fun show. I enjoyed it. There was enough on here to keep me interested. I liked all the 2-on-2 tag matches. I liked Lex and Mean Mark. Let's see. Vader's debut was historic. That was pretty good.
Was that match else... that went too long?
Yeah.
What was that? Do you remember?
Or wait, which one was it?
It went way too long. I just forget which one it was off the top of my head now.
The tag match?
No, it was a one-on-one match.
Let me see. Dirty Dutch and Doug Furnace?
I think it was Dirty Dutch and Doug Furnace, yeah.
That one was like over 11 minutes long. Yeah, way too long for that kind of crap, especially when you're trying to introduce Furnace as, the world's strongest man.
From Oklahoma.
Yeah. And then they had to drop Tommy Rich and Harley Race on there. I realized they were legends in NWA, but yuck. I don't know. I'm sure somebody's going to get offended. The Tommy Rich fan. But
I'm fired up.
That is only one of two shows we're covering this week, by the way. Speaking of NWA, this Friday, we're bringing you a June bonus podcast.
Ice Cube and the homies.
It is NWA TNA first anniversary show from 2003. Y'all, you can actually go watch this right now if you go to their YouTube channel, if you want to watch it and then hear us review it. Sometimes that's fun, or you can hear us review it. Yeah. Now a shirt on our Bonfire store. Go check that out. Or you can hear us review it and then go watch it. One of the two. But either way, it's there for free on YouTube.
My favorite price.
Exactly.
I'll buy anything at that price.
It's my favorite F word. But yeah, so that's the June bonus coming up this Friday. NWA TNA's first anniversary show from 2003. It was technically their first Slammiversary, but they didn't call it Slammiversary until, I want to say 05.
It was 05, yeah.
Yeah, so they had the first and second anniversary show, and then they changed the name and made it a pay-per-view. So there you go. But we're also wrapping up June next week. This one definitely has not been done. June 28th, we're bringing you WWE's Money in the Bank 2018.
You have to reassure yourself.
I do. I've been burned too many times, but I've double checked. I'm basically Santa Claus at this point because I'm making this list and now I'm checking it twice because all of these have not been done yet. I checked. All right, so we're cooking with gas now. But June 28th, WWE's Money in the Bank 2018. The only real big significant thing on that show that I really wanted to cover was AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura again. So looking forward to covering that. Look, this isn't one of SmackDown's brightest times in history, I'll say, but it's a time. Raw's either, for that matter. But either way, we'll cover it all. We'll make it fun. Because if it was painful for you guys to watch it 5 years ago, we'll make it fun. But thank you for joining me today, Greg.
Mm-hmm.
And we will see you all this Friday with TNA's first anniversary show from 03, and next Wednesday for Money in the Bank 2018.